So again, we have subscription contract. Any contract for the acquisition of an issued stock in an existing corporation or corporation still to be formed shall be deemed a subscription within the meaning of this title, notwithstanding the fact that parties refer to it as a purchase or some other contract. So pag sinabing subscription contract, okay, if you're going to subscribe, you are the subscriber stockholder, and this subscription contract ay hindi po pwedeng i-divide, no? There is a doctrine of indivisibility of the subscription contract. Ikaw lang ang subscriber, so yung contract na yan ay para lang sa'yo, okay? At you have to fully pay kung ano yung naka-indicate doon sa subscription contract na yan. Otherwise, you will be declared delinquent. At ito, na-discuss din natin, okay, that in case of pre-incorporation subscription, it shall be irrevocable for a period of at least 6 months from the date of subscription unless hindi nagtuloy. Okay? So, ayan, unless other subscribers consent or if the corporation failed to materialize. So, payment with regard to the consideration for stock, we have actual cash, property, labor, previously incurred indebtedness, so pambayad sa mga utang, pwedeng stock, amounts transferred from unrestricted RE. We have outstanding shares of stock in the event of reclassification, shares of stock in another corporation, and other generally accepted form of consideration. Then, in case na intangible, other than actual cash, ang valuation, according to Section 61, shall initially be determined by the stockholders or the board of directors, subject to the approval of the commission. Pag sinabing commission class, it is the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission. Shares of stock shall not be issued in exchange for promissory note or future service. So, hindi po allowed. Okay? The same consideration provided in this section, insofar as applicable, may be used for the issuance or issuance of bonds by the corporation. Plus, bakit kaya hindi allowed yung promissory note or for future service? Okay? Take note, class, no, na yung labor, na-render mo na ito eh. So, bibigyan ka na ng stock, no, at ang consideration ay labor performed or services actually rendered. For future service, hindi po. Because there is the so-called trust fund doctrine. Okay? And later, i-discuss natin further itong trust fund doctrine. Yung payment kasi ng stock class ay ito, iniipon yan in trust for the benefit of the creditors, not the benefit of the stockholders. So dapat hindi po pwede na ang payment ng stock ay nakadepende sa future service pa lang, gagawin pa lang. O kaya naman inuutang, no? Yung payment ng stock through promissory note. We all know with regard to negotiable instruments law under section 1, 'di ba, ng promissory note, okay? Ito po ay in writing, signed by the maker. Maker ang tawag doon sa nag-issue ng promissory note. Tapos, it contains an unconditional promise to pay a sum certain in money. So, babayaran ko. Diba? It must be payable on demand or at a fixed determinable future time. And kapag ginawa naman itong bill of exchange, then there is a drawee. Diba? Where an instrument is addressed to a drawee, he must be named or indicated therein with reasonable certainty. So dito, promissory note. So hindi pwede. Okay? Corporate name. This is also in relation, class, to yung mga trade name, no? Kagaya ng intellectual property. Sa SEC, kapag ikaw ay magsasubmit ng articles of incorporation, kailangan mong mag-submit ng at least tatlo, if I'm not mistaken, na corporate name. Okay? Tapos i-check nila yan kung wala po bang confusingly similar, kaparehas, or deceptively similar sa ibang mga kumpanya. Okay? That will, of course, bring confusion, diba, sa mga possible na makatransact ng corporation. So, sa corporate name, according to Section 17, no corporate name shall be allowed by the Commission if it is not distinguishable from that already reserved or registered for the use if another corporation or if such name is already protected by law, rules, and regulation. So, i-check din naman yan, class, no? Yung mga ino-nominate mong pangalan ng corporation, pwede pong i-disregard o kaya naman sabihin na natin na yung SEC, no, yung commission ay i-disallow kapag meron pong violation, okay? In case na may limitations, no, in the use of corporate name, sa limitation na yan. So such as, ito po yung mga limitations, names which are identical, okay, deceptively and or confusingly similar to that of an existing corporation, including internationally known foreign corporation, though not used in the Philippines. For example, class, yung mga korporasyon, SMDC, no? For example, JFC, Jollibee Food Corporation. Baka naman put up ka naman ng same industry na ang corporation na nasa same industry ng Jollibee, food din siya, pero ang pangalan ay imbis na Jollibee, Jollibells. Ayan, o kaya naman Jollivee, pinalitan mo lang yung B ng letter V. Hindi yan i-allow, no? Ito po ay it will create confusion. Okay? Actually, may case nga dun sa intellectual property with regard to Jollyville Corporation, no? Yan po ay publicly listed company, Jollyville and Jollibee Food Corp. Okay, may case yung dalawang yan. I think nasa CA pa lang, no? At yung case na yan with regard to intellectual property. Si Jollyville kasi more on more on real estate. Okay, yung sinasabi niya, walang confusion diyan kasi nga ikaw Jollibee Food Corp nasa food industry ka. Kami naman nasa real estate. Saka magkaiba naman yung Jollyville sa Jollibee. Diba? Iba naman yung Jollytown. Diba? Yung sa ng Jollibee. Anyway, so problema na ng SEC yan. Trabaho na nila kung ano yung sa tingin nila ay confusingly similar, deceptively, or identical. Names already protected by the law. So hindi mo pwedeng gamitin na yung mga already existing na mga pangalan, isyuhan na ng Certificate of Incorporation. Name which is contrary to law, moral, or public policy. Hindi mo pwedeng gawin na, say for example, contrary to law, Shabu Corporation, o kaya naman Marijuana Corporation. Moral and public policy. Alam nyo na yan, class, no, with regard to moral and public policy. Now, with regard to bylaws, ang tatandaan nyo dito, class, ay yung voting requirement. Diba? Siyempre, pag nag-submit ka ng bylaws, naka-indicate kasi dyan yung mga with regard to the schedule of regular and special meeting, election of the board, election of the officers, functions of officers, etc. Wala sa Articles of Incorporation yon. Okay? And syempre, pwede mo rin naman na i-amend ang bylaws. Of course, bago natin i-amend, dapat i-adapt muna yung bylaws. Okay? So, with regard to Section 45, adoption of bylaws, ano yung required voting? According to the said section, okay, adoption of bylaws by the corporation, the affirmative vote of stockholders representing at least majority. Okay? Majority. So, normally, class, kapag outstanding, okay, capital stock, itong tandaan nyo para madaling tandaan, no? Or, yung members, normally, ang vote ay 2/3. Diba? Normally, mapansinin nyo mga kapatid, normally 2/3 yung vote. Pero, dito sa adoption of bylaws, ang requirement lang ay at least majority. And normally also, kapag board of director mga kapatid, ang usual na voting nila ay M, majority. Yan na yung i-general rule ninyo kapag gagawa kayo ng mga notes, no? General rule, outstanding capital stock or members, 2/3. Board of directors, majority. Hanapin nyo na lang, class, i-note ninyo yung mga exception to the general rule. Okay? Hindi kasi nilagay class sa RA 11232 yung general rule and exception na yan. Kayo ang mag-take note of that. And one of the exceptions, class, ay yung adoption of bylaws. Kasi ang sabi ng Section 45, ang kailangan lang na vote ng stockholders in order to adopt the said bylaw ay at least majority. Okay? Same with members in case of non-stock corporation. Majority lang din. Okay? The bylaws shall be signed by the stockholders or members voting for them and shall be kept in the principal office of the corporation subject to the inspection of the stockholders. So pwede pong i-inspect ng stockholder yan, okay, at any time within reasonable period or time. Okay? Which is during office hours. Hindi naman pwede na sarado na yung kumpanya, midnight doon ka mag-i-inspect. No? Reasonable period during the office hours. Ngayon, paano pag hindi ka inalaw na mag-inspect? Siyempre, masama ang pakiramdam mo, masama ang loob mo. Diba? Meron bang violation sa right mo as a stockholder? Kung meron, then you can file a suit. Later, i-discuss naman natin ang individual suit, representative suit, derivative suit. Yan, tinatanong din yan sa board exam, mga kapatid. Siyempre, kung ikaw lang yung affected, okay, individual ang tawag doon, individual suit. Pero kapag affected yung kasama mo sa class or doon sa tinatawag nating representation, di ba? Say for example, na-violate yung preferred distribution sa preferred stocks, no? At kayo ay isa ka sa mga preferred stockholders, then it can be a class suit or representative suit. Yan. Later, discuss pa natin to, even with derivative suit. So for now, okay, with regard to adoption of bylaws, okay, majority ang requirement. Of course, a copy thereof, duly certified by majority of the board of directors or trustees and countersigned by the secretary of the corporation shall be filed with the commission and attached to the original articles of incorporation. Ang tanong ito ba sa regular corporation, kailangan siyang i-file sa SEC? O nasagot na natin. Ang sabi dito ay, it shall be attached to the original articles of incorporation filed with the SEC. Kasama niya yung AOI. And regular corporation. Sir, how about the one-person corporation? OPC. Kailangan din po bang isubmit ang bylaws sa SEC kapag one-person corporation ang i-establish natin or incorporate natin? Sabi ng batas, ang bylaws naka-indicate dyan kung ano ang function mo as the director. Kung one-person corporation, ikaw lang din ang director. Anong function mo as the officer? President. Kung one-person corporation, ikaw din ang president. Diba? Pwedeng ikaw din ang treasurer. Pero hindi pwedeng ikaw din ang corporate secretary. Yan. So, ang sabi ng batas class, hindi mo kailangang isubmit. Okay? Yung bylaws na yan sa SEC as a requirement. No? Hindi na kailangan. Ngayon, ano ba yung contents ng bylaws? So, padaanan lang natin mga kapatid yung contents. So, we have here the time, place, and manner of calling and conducting regular or special meeting of the board of directors. So pag sinabing regular, yan po ay naka-schedule na. Special naman in case of fortuitous events, say for example, o kaya naman exceptional circumstance, magpapatawag ng meeting ang chairman ng board. Okay? At anong tanong, kailan? Kailan ang special meeting, kailan ang regular meeting? At with regard to notice, okay? Ano yung mga notice requirements? Okay, so ayan. The time and manner of calling and conducting regular or special meeting, required quorum in meeting of the stockholders or members, and manner of voting. The modes by which stockholder, members, directors, or trustees may attend meeting. Ibig sabihin, pwede po ba na in absentia by proxy ang pag-conduct pag-attend sa meeting? Okay, pwede po bang proxy or pwede po bang remote communication or dapat face-to-face? Yan. And how to cast yung vote nila. Okay? The form for proxies of stockholders and members and manner of voting. Directors or trustees qualification. Duties and responsibilities. So yan na yung mga kailangan na ma-fulfill, no? Para ikaw ay ma-vote as director, okay, or one of the board of directors or trustees. Okay, ano yung mga kailangan mong comply at responsibilities or functions mo. Even compensation of directors and trustees. What else? Time for holding the annual election. Paano kapag hindi nakapag-conduct ng election? Merong requirement ulit with regard to the period kung kailan dapat i-notify ang SEC. The manner of election. In case of penalty for violation of the bylaws, in case of stock corporation, the manner of issuing stock certificates and such other matters as may be necessary for proper and convenient transactions of its corporate affairs. In short, mga kapatid, ang bylaws, ini-indicate dito yung mga specific provisions na hindi mo pwedeng isama doon sa Articles of Incorporation. So ito, basta't hindi siya contrary sa law, pwede nyo i-stipulate or indicate yan sa bylaws ng corporation. See, for example nga, no, mga functions ng officers, okay, yung qualifications ng directors or trustees, nandyan, duties, okay, same with the manner of voting, quorum. Pwede po ng quorum ay ilagay nilang majority of all the members or all majority of the outstanding capital stock o kaya naman 2/3, depende kung ano ang gusto nilang ilagay na quorum requirement and with regard to voting requirement. So kumbaga ito po ay para siyang internal rules ng korporasyon. Okay? Now, kung kanina, meron tayong adoption, ito naman, amendment. Okay? So, kung meron kang gustong idagdag dun sa bylaws or kung meron kang gustong baguhin sa bylaws, say for example, dati hindi allowed yung remote communication. Diba? So, ngayon, since yung bylaws natin face-to-face lang or by proxy, ngayon pwede na naka-Zoom, online, remote communication kahit na wala ka doon sa mismong meeting place, venue, pwede ka makipag-participate. Pero dapat nasa bylaws natin yan. So, i-amend natin yung bylaw. So, ngayon, ano yung requirement? So, tandaan nyo class, no, kapag sa board exam, ang tatanungin dyan, normally ay yung voting requirement. Okay? Adoption of bylaws, amendment of bylaws, with regard to the shortening or extension of term, etc. So, ito, yung mga susunod na slide class, take note ninyo, no? I-summarize nyo, gawa kayo ng column. O ito, kapag adoption, ito yung voting requirement. Kapag amendment, ito naman. So amendment, majority ulit. Okay? Ng board of directors. Okay? Or trustees. Ayan. And the owners of at least majority of outstanding capital stock. Ayan. Majority ulit na outstanding capital stock or majority of the members in case of non-stock corporation. Okay? Now, the owner of 2/3 of the outstanding capital stock or 2/3 of the members in non-stock corporation may delegate to the board of directors or trustees the power to amend or repeal the bylaws or adopt new bylaws. So as a rule, majority. Okay? Majority ng board, majority ng stockholders or members. Okay? In order to amend the said bylaws. Pero itong stockholders or members, pwede nilang i-delegate. Huwag nyo na kaming isama, no, doon sa ratification. Basta't dinelegate na namin sa inyo, total, as board of directors, hindi naman kayo elected as board kung hindi kayo stockholder din or hindi kayo member ng non-stock corporation. So, the 2/3, no, of the outstanding capital stock or members in a stock or non-stock corporation respectively may delegate to the board of directors or trustees. Okay, so ito, trustees or members. Delegate what? Delegate the amendment to the bylaws. Okay, wala pong ganyang power with regard to the adoption. Only amendment. Provided that any power delegated to the board of directors to amend or repeal the bylaws or adopt new bylaws shall be considered as revoked whenever stockholders owning or representing a majority of the outstanding capital stock or majority of the members shall so vote at regular or special meeting. Okay? So, pwede po nilang i-revoke. So, yung dinelegate na power to amend yung bylaws, okay, pwede rin naman din na i-revoke by majority. Kumbaga, i-veto, no, yung amendment na yan or i-revoke yan by majority of the stockholders kung ayaw nila. Pero kung gusto nila, since delegated na, no need for ratification. Yan. Implied ratification na yun kasi dinelegate mo na. Pero in case na hindi mo gusto yung ginawa ng board of directors, then majority may revoke. Okay. One of the changes sa BP 68 introduced by RA 11232 is the so-called effects of non-use of corporate charter. Okay, yung as to years, no? Ilang years, no, para pwede nang sabihin na deem revoke yung charter o kaya naman yung certificate of incorporation pag hindi niya ginamit. Paano pag ginamit niya pero subsequently hindi siya nagtuloy? O, yan ang dapat nating alamin, no? With regard to non-use, sabi ng batas, Section 21, if the corporation does not formally organize and commence for a period of 5 years, ang mangyayari po ay deem revoke na po siya. Okay? However, if the corporation commence, so number 1, hindi siya nag-commence for a period of 5 years. Example, na-issuehan siya ng certificate of incorporation. Say for example, we have 2021, may 5 years siya from the said date. Pag hindi siya commence, then mare-revoke yung kanyang certificate. Pero kapag nag-start siya, but subsequently becomes inoperative for a period of at least 5 consecutive years, okay, so this is number 2. Nag-commence pero tumigil. Ang penalty niya ay hindi revocation. Okay? Yung commission ay i-declare siya as a delinquent corporation. So, delinquent status. So, the commission may, after due notice and hearing, place the corporation under delinquent status. Okay? At binibigyan yung corporation ng 2 taon para mag-operate, para maklear yung delinquent status niya. At kapag hindi pa rin siya, so pag nag-operate siya, okay. Diba? Okay, walang problema. So balik siya sa normal. Yan. Pero pag hindi pa rin siya nag-operate within this period, then magkakaroon po ng revocation ng kanyang charter or yung kanyang certificate of incorporation. Ayan na. So una, okay, hindi nag-operate for a period of 5 years, deem revoke. Anong effect ng revocation? So yung pangalan niya, say for example, ABC Corporation na revoke. O di pwede na open na for iba naman na gumamit na nung pangalan na yon. Okay? Dito naman, kapag nag-commence siya at hindi niya nagtinuloy, delinquent status. Pero dapat ma-clear niya yan for a period of 2 years. Ito yun. Delinquent corporation shall have a period of 2 years to resume the operation and comply with all requirements that commission shall prescribe. Upon compliance by corporation, the commission shall issue order lifting the delinquent status. Failure to comply, paano pag hindi pa rin? With the requirements and resume operations within the period given by the commission shall cause the revocation. Ito nga po siya. Yan. Okay? So kapag ito, lifted yung delinquent status, okay na ulit siya. Kapag dito naman, ay revoke. Okay? So ganyan. So tinatanong din po ito mga kapatid ha. If I'm not mistaken mga kapatid, 3 years yata dati, no? 3 years. So ito 5 years, so mas in-extend pa. Now, what are the powers of corporation? General powers, okay? This is the theory of general capacity. So every corporation incorporated under this code has the power and capacity to sue and be sued. Manghabla at ihabla. Bakit ganun? Because a corporation is a juridical entity. Okay? It has a separate juridical personality. Okay? Meaning, meron pong pangalan, may personality, may legal fiction, it can own property. Di ba? So, pwede po siyang ihabla para maging liable siya doon sa na i-file sa kanya with regard to damages. Pero hindi pwedeng maikulong. Na-discuss na natin yan last time. Because criminal liability ay hindi nakukulong po ang corporation. But those officers involved in the said crime, sila yung makukulong. To have perpetual existence. So ito isa rin sa salient changes introduced by RA 11232. Ang corporation, ang kanyang existence or term ay in perpetuity. Unless, exception na ngayon, yung naka-indicate sa Certificate of Incorporation kung ilang period or ilang years ang kanyang life. Adopt and use a corporate seal, amend its articles of incorporation, adopt the bylaws, not contrary to law, moral, public policy, and to amend or repeal the same in accordance with this code. So yan yung mga powers. In addition to this, okay, in case of stock corporation, to issue or sell stocks to subscribers and sell treasury stocks in accordance with the provision of this code, and to admit members in case of non-stock corporation. So may, alam naman natin, no, publicly listed company, private companies, or privately held company, may stocks, yung mga stock corporation, pwede sila magbenta to raise capital, di ba? There are 3 ways on how to finance the corporation. First, you ask for bank loan, di ba? Umutang ka sa bangko. Second, umutang ka sa publiko by issuing bonds. And third, ikaw ay magbenta ng ownership by issuing or selling stocks. Yan. To purchase, receive, take, grant, hold, convey, sell, lease. Ito, SLEMPO. Ang tawag ko dito, SLEMPO. Sale, lease, encumber, ayan, pledge, mortgage, or otherwise deal with such real and personal property, including securities and bonds of other corporation, to enter into partnership, joint venture, merger, consolidation. Recently, class, no, nababalita ang joint venture ng TV5 at saka ABS-CBN. Yung TV5 at saka ABS-CBN, sila po ay separate corporation. Okay? So, may power sila to enter into a partnership or joint venture. Or kung gusto nilang mag-merge, kagaya po ng BDO and Equitable PCI Bank. Or consolidation. Ano bang pagkakaiba ng merger at saka consolidation? Pag sinabi nating merger, A plus B is equal to A or B. Pwedeng ang mag-survive ay si A or si B. Yan. Pero kapag ka-consolidation, company A plus company B, pero mawawala silang dalawa. Magkakaroon ng letter C, company C. Yan. So ito po, letter C din, consolidation. Madaling tandaan. Okay? And other commercial agreement with natural and juridical persons. Siyempre, class, yung joint venture, okay, meron din pong tinatawag na Philippine Competition Commission, di ba? So dapat sabi doon sa balita, no, si TV5 at saka si ABS-CBN, syempre, i-check muna kung walang mababiolate with regard to competition. So yan yung mga powers, no, na pwedeng gawin ng corporation. Maliban dito, to make reasonable donations. So pwede kang mag-donate sa charity. Okay, yung mga foundation. Okay? Ang hindi lang pwede, so ito yung mga possible na tanungin. Kung pwede pala silang mag-donate, pwede ba silang pwede bang mag-donate ang foreign corporation? Okay, for purposes of political fund, political party and candidate, partisan political activity. O class, ito isa rin sa salient change introduced by RA 11232. Si foreign corporation lang ang pinagbawal na mag-donate sa political party or candidate. So kunyari, dinonatan ng Apple, di ba? O kaya Facebook. Yan, si Mark Zuckerberg. Dinonatan niya si Juan de la Cruz na tumatakbong presidente. Okay? Pwede po ba yon? Presidente ng Pilipinas? Hindi pwede. Bawal po yon. Okay? Dinonatan, say for example, sino ba yung tumakbong presidenteng nag-disclose ng donation? Si Mayor Isko Moreno, di ba? May donation sa kanya. Dineclare naman niyang donation. Nagbayad siya ng donor's tax. O, tapos, pwede po ba na foreign? Hindi pwede. Pero ngayon, mga kapatid, paano kapag domestic? Paano kapag si Jollibee, a domestic corporation, si San Miguel, domestic corporation, magdo-donate for political party or candidate for the purpose of partisan political activity? Do-donatan, say for example, si Bongbong Marcos, si Leni Robredo, o kaya naman si sino bang tumatakbong presidente? Si Isko, si Manny Pacquiao. Si Manny Pacquiao tatanggap ng donation. Sino pa? Si Calyodi. Yan, banggitin na natin. Okay, ngayon, pwede po ba in accordance with RA 11232, hindi na po nagkaroon ng prohibition. So pwede na. Provided na i-disclose. Okay? At syempre, kailangan i-disclose yan ng candidate. Meron silang tinatawag na SOSE, no? Statement of Contribution and Expenditures. Dapat nandun. So, ibig sabihin, para ma-check din ni BIR. So, ina-allow na, no? Siguro, in-anticipate naman ng mga kongresista, ng mga senators, no, na ba't naman hindi natin i-allow na mag-donate yung corporation sa mga political party. Yan. Pondo rin naman yan. And baka in practice naman talaga nagdo-donate. So, why not gawin na nating legal para magbayad din sila ng donor's tax. Pero kapag foreign, hindi pa rin inalaw. And for whatever reason, kung bakit hindi inalaw, siguro, dahil foreign yan eh. Diba? Ayaw nilang makialam. Okay? At makisawsaw ang mga foreigner, di ba? Doon sa electoral process ng Pilipinas. Yan. Anyway, okay, so ayan na. So ito, letter I, take note of this. Pwede na pong mag-donate, okay, for political activity kapag domestic. Yan na, pag domestic. Pag foreign, hindi pwede. To establish pension, retirement, and other plans for the benefit of its directors, trustees, officers, and employees. To exercise such other powers as may be essential or necessary to carry out its purpose or purposes as stated in the Articles of Incorporation. Okay. So ngayon, power to extend or shorten corporate term. So pwede po ba na pahabain pa yung term? Diba, prior to the amendment of BP 68, RA 11232, ang life ng corporation ay nakafix sa 50 years. O kaya naman may term, subject to renewal. Ngayon, perpetual na. Okay, exception na yung meron kang term na naka-indicate. Say, for example, ang term ninyo ay 40 years, 60 years, 70 years, o hindi na perpetual yon. Ngayon, pwede po bang i-extend or shorten? Pwede, sabi ng Section 36. A private corporation may extend or shorten its term as stated in the Articles of Incorporation when approved by, yan na naman po, pag board majority. Okay? And ratified at the meeting by the stockholders or members representing 2/3 of the outstanding capital stock or the members. Okay, so pumunta na tayo sa general rule. Yan. Written notice of the proposed action and the time and place of the meeting shall be sent to the stockholders or members at their respective place of residence, as shown in the books of the corporation, and must be deposited to the addressee in the post office with postage, prepaid, served personally when allowed by the bylaws, or done with consent of the stockholders. Sent electronically in accordance with rules and regulations of the Commission. Okay, Section 37. The power to increase or decrease capital stock incur or create bonded indebtedness. So ano yung requirement ulit ng law? No corporation shall increase or decrease capital stock, okay, or create, increase bonded indebtedness, yung mag-issue ka ng bonds, okay? Umutang ka sa publiko, unless approved by, ito na naman po, sulat natin ulit class ha, kapag ka-board majority, kapag stockholders 2/3. Okay, ito yung general rule natin. Yan po. Okay? 2/3 of the outstanding capital stock at the stockholders meeting duly called for the purpose. Written notice of the time and place of the stockholders meeting and purpose must be sent to the stockholders at their place of residence. Ibig sabihin, bigyan po sila ng notice para makapag-participate sila sa pag-ratify. Ayan, pag-approve ng increase or decrease in capital stock or bonded indebtedness. Power to deny preemptive right. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng preemptive right? Na-discuss na natin to last time, no? Pag sinabing preemptive right, you are giving or granting the stockholder the right to or option, di ba? To purchase, okay? A newly issued stock, So preemptive. Bago mo i-offer sa iba, sila muna ang mabibigyan ng right to or option to purchase. However, okay, there is power to deny preemptive right. Okay, pero kailangan ng vote. So all stockholders of a stock corporation shall enjoy preemptive right. Okay, whether common stockholder ka or preferred stockholder. Subscribe to all issue or disposition of shares of any class in proportion to the respective shareholders. Bakit kailangan na may preemptive right? Para hindi magbago ang kanilang stock ownership. Ma-maintain nila. Diba? So binibigyan ka ng karapatang bumili. Kung hindi mo bibilhin within that period of time, then madidilute yung ownership mo. Okay? Unless such right is denied by the Articles of Incorporation or an amendment thereto. Okay? That such preemptive right shall not extend to shares issued in compliance with laws requiring stock offerings or minimum stock ownership by the public. Ibig sabihin, kung meron pong public float, okay? So ito po yung mga publicly listed companies class, no? Yung mga public, yung mga trade sa Philippine Stock Exchange. Kung nire-require na may public float, okay? May stock ownership ng publiko, ayan. So pwede po, no, na in compliance with this requirement, okay, pwede po na ma-deny, okay, or shares issued in good faith with approval of stockholders representing 2/3 of the outstanding stock in exchange for property needed for corporate purposes or in payment of previously contracted debt. So kailangan po ng approval din, no, ng tinatawag nating stockholders, at ang required vote ay 2/3, okay, to deny the preemptive right. Okay, so yan. Power to sell or dispose corporate asset. Ito po, no, meron tayong Philippine Competition Act, which is RA 10667. So subject to the Philippine Competition Act and other related law, a corporation may, by majority vote of the board, naman si board, okay, of directors or trustees, sell, lease, exchange, mortgage, pledge, or otherwise dispose. Okay, so ito po, sell, lease, exchange, mortgage, LEMPO. Sell, lease, exchange, mortgage, pledge, and otherwise, okay, dispose properties and assets upon terms and conditions and for such consideration which may be money, stock, bonds, or other instruments for payment of money and other property as its board of directors or trustees may deem expedient. So, ang sinasabi lang nitong Section 39, kailangan na hindi ma-violate yung Philippine Competition Act. See, for example, magbebenta ka ng sample lang, si PLDT dito at saka si Globe, di ba? Globe. What if binenta ni PLDT yung assets, di ba, kay Globe? So it will affect, no, yung competition. Okay? Kaya nga tatlo na yung telco natin, no, para ang purpose dan ay may competition. So baka hindi payagan yan. Even if approved by the board as well as ratified by 2/3. So ito na naman mga kapatid, okay? Sale of all or substantially all of the corporation's properties, including its goodwill, must be authorized by vote of the stockholders representing at least 2/3 of the outstanding capital stock or 2/3 of the members. By the way, mga kapatid, if you can still recall, yung ASIMID, no? Amendment of Articles of Incorporation, adoption and amendment of bylaws, sale, lease, exchange, mortgage, pledge, and other disposition. Ito na po yung SLEMPO of all the assets or substantially all the assets of the corporation. Okay, and increase or decrease in capital stock. Okay, increase or decrease in bonded indebtedness or increase in bonded indebtedness. Merger or consolidation, as discussed a while ago. Okay, we have ASIMID, incurrence or investment, I should say, investment in funds. Okay, investment of funds rather in another corporation and dissolution. Ito mga ito, okay, these are instances wherein not only the common stockholders, okay, will have the right to vote. Okay? Even yung mga preferred stockholders at redeemable shareholders ay pwede pong mag-vote. Hindi lang pwede, syempre, treasury shares, no? Wala naman po. Okay? Right to vote yon. So, ayan. So, ngayon, dito sa Section 39, kapag ibebenta, no, yung substantially all, okay, or all assets or lease, exchange, mortgage, pledge, kailangan ng 2/3 vote ng stockholders or members. And of course, dapat hindi po mag-violate sa Philippine Competition Act. Yeah. Power to acquire own shares. So, bakit mo kailangang bilhin yung shares na inisyu mo na? At meron ka palang karapatan at power na bumili. Yan. Sabi ng Section 40, the corporation, okay, provided that has an unrestricted retained earnings, okay, in its books to cover the shares to be purchased or acquired, a stock corporation shall have the power to purchase or acquire, okay, acquire for legitimate corporate purpose, including the following cases. Naulit lang ito mga kapatid, no? Acquire its own shares for legitimate corporate purpose. Una, syempre pag nag-declare tayo ng stock dividend, say for example, 20% stock dividend, 5% stock dividend, may mga fractional shares. Di ba? Mga point something. Yan. So, to eliminate these fractional shares, pwede kang mag-acquire, bumili ng shares. To collect or compromise an indebtedness to the corporation arising out of an unpaid subscription in a delinquency sale, and to purchase delinquent shares sold during said sale, and to pay dissenting or withdrawing stockholder. Ito class, ito yung mga nag-exercise na tinatawag nila na appraisal right. Diba? Appraisal right. Okay? So kapag in-exercise nila yung appraisal right nila, kasi kumukontra sila doon sa gustong gawin na ng board. Diba? Tapos nagbotohan at syempre natalo sila. So ayaw na nilang magstay as stockholders. So they would like to exercise their appraisal right. So para mabawi yung stocks na hawak ng mga stockholder na ayaw nang magstay as stockholders, kailangan bilhin. So kailangan bayaran yung dissenting or withdrawing stockholders. Okay? And they are entitled for their share under the provision of this code. So yan. Ngayon, sabi dito class, unrestricted retained earnings, no? Okay? Pero kapag ka redeemable shares, okay? Pag redeemable shares, kapag dumating na yung period kung kailan po dapat siyang i-redeem, kailangan po siyang bilhin at i-redeem even without unrestricted retained earnings. Okay? So ibig sabihin, yung batas inaalaw na kahit wala kang unrestricted RE, pwede mong bilhin yung redeemable share, i-redeem kasi nga dumating na yung period kung kailan siya dapat i-redeem. Yan na. Pero kapag dissenting, dapat meron tayong unrestricted RE. Power to invest corporate funds in another corporation. Ito po yung sinabi ko kanina, no? Asimit, ayan, ito, invest. Okay? Corporate funds. So, subject to the provision of this code, a private corporation may invest its funds in any other corporation, business, or for any purpose other than primary purpose for which it was organized. When approved by, ayun naman po si majority ng board at nandyan na naman si 2/3 ng outstanding capital stock. Okay? Or 2/3 of the members in case of non-stock at the meeting duly called for the purpose. So, kung napansin nyo mga kapatid, diba, mula sa adoption of bylaws, okay, hanggang dito, konti lang yung majority yung outstanding capital stock. Sa bylaws lang, di ba? Bylaws, adoption, and amendment. Dito, other voting requirement dun sa mga powers ng corporation ay 2/3 na. Yan. So ano pa? Power to declare dividends. The board of directors of stock corporation may declare dividends out of unrestricted retained earnings, which shall be payable in cash, property, or stock to all stockholders on the basis of outstanding stock held by them. Class, bibilugan ko tong stock dividend. Kasi pag stock dividend, yan, provided further that no stock dividends shall be issued without approval of the stockholders representing at least 2/3 of the outstanding capital stock. Okay? So kapag stock dividend kasi mga kapatid, pwede pong magbago. Pwede pong ma-dilute, di ba? Yung ownership. Kaya kailangan naman na mag-approve yung at least 2/3 ng outstanding capital stock. Okay? At wala pong pinag-uusapan na non-stock corporation dito kasi nga dividend po ito. Di ba? Kaya nga siya non-stock, walang i-distribute sa mga members. Okay? Kasi yung kinikita ng non-stock corporation ay to further the business. Okay, so ito. Sir, paano kapag cash dividend? So inuna natin yung stock, okay? Cash dividend. Kapag cash dividend class or property dividend, there is no need for the stockholders to ratify, okay? Or approve the said declaration. Yung board of directors na lang po ang bahala doon. At ang board of directors provided na may unrestricted retained earnings. Pero kapag stock, kailangan po ng approval ng mga stockholders. Why? Kasi nga, possible na ma-dilute yung kanilang ownership. Malay mo, yung 1/3 lang ang gustong mag-approve, 2/3 na wala silang pambili, wala silang pang-exercise ng kanilang preemptive rights, di ba? So ayan. So the cash dividends due on delinquent stock shall be applied to unpaid balance on the subscription plus cost and expense while stockholders until their unpaid subscription is fully paid. So ibig sabihin mga kapatid nito, kapag cash dividend dineclare ng board of directors, wala pong tatanggapin si delinquent stockholder. Okay? Kundi gagamitin siya as an offset doon sa kanyang unpaid balance. Yeah. Stock corporation are prohibited from retaining dapat surplus profit. Ito class in relation to IAET, di ba? We have mentioned this at na-discuss nyo to sa tax ninyo. Improperly accumulated earnings tax. If I'm not mistaken, 10%. Di ba? 10% itong tax na to. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Ang corporation, pwede po siyang mag-accumulate ng earnings or surplus profit. Di ba? Kasi gusto niyang i-anticipate, no, yung possible na expansion ng business. Kaya nga hindi niya dinideclare lahat ng nakikita as dividend, okay? Nire-retain niya kaya nandiyan sa retained earnings, di ba? Pero ang sabi ng batas, okay, the stock corporation are prohibited from retaining surplus profit in excess of 100% of their paid-in capital stock. Yan bawal as a rule. Okay, as a rule. At ang sinasabi naman ni BIR, mag-declare kayo ng retained earnings niyo as dividend. Kawawa naman yung mga stockholders nyo. Ayun, ang ganda ng intention ng BIR dito sa 10% na IAET na ito. Kung ayaw nyong mag-declare, yung excess na yan na improperly accumulated in accordance with the law, ay itatax namin 10%. O di syempre, yung corporation, mapipilitan na mag-declare na lang, di ba? Ng surplus profit. Kasi nga, matatax. Kaysa matax, i-distribute na lang namin sa stockholders. Ganyan po. However, sabi ng batas, pwede kang mag-retain ng profit in excess of the paid-in capital when the following are present. Ito. And when justified by the definite corporate expansion, kaya meron tayong tinatawag na, di ba, unrestricted. Okay? Ito naman, appropriated RE. So, naka-appropriate. Kaya naman pala hindi mo dinideclare na dividend kasi nga, pambili mo yan ng lupa at patayo ng building for expansion. And approved by the board of directors. So, ayan. Para hindi ka matax in excess, dapat meron tayong board resolution. Diba? Na meron tayong expansion projects na kung saan popondohan ng retained earnings or surplus profit. Kaya appropriated. Yan. Or, sabi dito, or, when the corporation is prohibited under any loan agreement, umutang naman pala tayo from a financial institution or creditors, whether local or foreign, from declaring dividends without their consent. And such consent has not yet been secured. So, isang possible na reason kung bakit pwede kang mag-accumulate more than 100% ay may utang tayo sa bangko. At yung consent ng bangko kailangan bago mag-declare. When it can be clearly shown that such retention is necessary under special circumstances obtaining in the corporation, such as when there is need for special reserve for probable contingencies. Okay, so i-prove mo lang na kailangan po for probable contingency kung bakit nag-appropriate ka ng pondo na ganito. See, for example, okay, yung kumpanya ay isa sa mga respondents, no, ng litigation at merong possible na loss, diba? Probability mataas yung babayaran. So pwede kang special reserve in case lang na matalo, meron tayong pambayad. Next, power to enter into MANCOM. Okay, management contract. MANCOM. Ayan. Power to enter into MANCOM, a management contract, no corporation shall conclude a management contract with another corporation unless such contract is approved by the board and by the stockholders owning at least majority of outstanding capital stock. So, dito po yung pangalawang instance na majority. Okay? Hindi lang ang board, majority naman, lagi yung board, di ba? Pati yung stockholders or members. Ayan. Ayan na. Management contract. Madaling tandaan, letter M. Management contract. As a rule, majority. Ang board, majority din ang requirement for approval ng stockholders and members. Okay? In case of non-stock corporation. Okay, so yung isa, amendment ng bylaws. Okay, bylaws. Ito naman, management contract. Okay? Provided that where stockholder or stockholders representing the same interest of both managing and managed corporations. Say, for example, Corporation A managing siya, Corporation B managed corporation. Okay? Yung stockholders nilang dalawa, ay owner din, no? Ng 1/3 of the total outstanding capital stock entitled to vote of the managing corporation. Or, sabi pa dito, where majority of the members of the board or of directors of the managing corporation also constitutes majority of the members of the board of directors of the managed corporation. So, 1/3. Kapag stockholder, yung stockholder ng managing, 1/3 niyan, stockholder din siya ng manage. Or, majority ng board of directors ng managing ay majority din ng board of directors ng manage. Teka lang, parang titignan natin, parang sila, connected, di ba? Then the management contract must be approved. So kapag ganun, possible kasi na meron tayong tinatawag na influence. Di ba? Majority lang ang requirement para ma-approve yung management contract na yan, wherein Company A as managing corporation will manage Company B. Okay? Tapos malalaman-laman natin 1/3 pala ng stockholders ng managing ay sila din ang stockholder ng manage. Diba? 1/3 is equivalent to what? 33.33%. Diba? Majority is 50 plus 1. 50% plus 1. So kapag 1/3 managing, 1/3 din manage, sila din. Anong sinasabi na ng batas? Teka lang. Kailangan na ng approval. Okay? Must be approved by the stockholders of the managed corporation owning at least 2/3 of the total outstanding capital stock entitled to vote. Okay? So yung managed corporation, kailangan na po. Kapag ito ay present 1/3, okay, ng stockholders or managers, o kaya naman board of directors, sila din ay majority ng manage at saka managing, then kailangan na ng approval ng 2/3. Okay? Anong ina-approve dito? 2/3 ng managed corporation, okay, ina-approve yung management contract entered into between managing and managed corporation. Okay? So ito yung general rule natin, mga kapatid. Yan. Iko dito general rule. Kapag power to enter into management contract, majority of the board or majority of the stockholders or the members. Okay? The exception ay ito. Magto-2/3 ka, exemption, magto-2/3 ka, approval ng, okay, ng managed corporation, okay, 2/3 ng stockholders or 2/3 ng members. Kailan? Ayan. When, okay, either of the two. When the majority of board of directors of the managing corporation are also majority of the board of directors of the managed. Or when stockholders comprising of at least 1/3 of the total outstanding capital stock entitled to vote, okay, is controlled by the said stockholders, yung managing as well as the managed. So ayan. Ibig sabihin, kailangan na i-seek yung approval ng other stockholders ng mga managed. Ayan na. So this is the general rule. This is the exception. This shall apply to any contract whereby corporation undertakes to manage or operate all or substantially all of the called service contracts, operating agreements, or otherwise. Provided, however, that such service contracts or operating agreements which relate to exploration, development, exploitation, utilization of natural resources may be entered into such period as may be provided by the pertinent law or regulation. And take note of this, mga kapatid, no management contract shall be entered for a period longer than 5 years. Dan dapat ito. 5 years from any one term. Ito yung tinatanong ulit, no? Period ng management contract. Ultra vires act of the corporation. Pag sinabing ultra vires, outside the allowed power. No corporation shall possess or exercise corporate power other than those conferred by this code or by the articles of incorporation, and except as necessary or incidental to the existence or exercise of powers conferred. What is doctrine of individuality of subscription? This doctrine, class, holds that a subscription is one entire and indivisible whole contract. Kaya yung subscription contract na diniscuss natin kanina, hindi siya pwedeng i-divide into portion. Kung ikaw yung nakasulat doon na nag-subscribe, ikaw lang ang dapat magbayad doon. Indivisible. A whole contract. And here comes now the trust fund doctrine. So what is that trust fund doctrine? The capital stock, property, and other assets of corporation are regarded as equity in trust, okay, for the payment of corporate creditors. Yan, yung mga na-raise na capital through issuance of stocks, no, ay hindi po pwedeng i-declare na dividend. Yan. Because this will be in violation of trust fund doctrine. Yung mga capital na yan ay nire-reserve in case na magkaroon ng utang ang kumpanya. Yun ang sinasabi dito. To pay corporate creditors. Hence, hindi siya pwedeng gawin or gamitin na pang-declare ng dividend. Okay? So this ends our discussion on part 1 of corporation law. Okay, so let us have a short break, mga kapatid. Short break muna.